I'm NCX, and this is the table of contents for my BenQ BL3201PH or BL3201PT review. They are the same monitor. The PH is sold in North America, and the PT is sold in Europe. This is the table of contents, so make sure to enable annotations so that you can click on the different boxes to jump to different sections of this review. The BenQ uses a matte 38x40 by 21x60 or 4K AHVA panel, and AHVA panels are AUO's equivalent to LG IPS and Samsung PLS panels. The BenQ BL3201PH or PT can be raised, can be lowered, swiveled left, swiveled right, and rotated into portrait mode. It has many inputs, including dual-link DVI, 2 HDMI 1.4a inputs, DisplayPort, and Mini DisplayPort, both of which support 4K at 60 Hz, an SD card reader, and 4 USB 3.0 ports, 2 of which are located on the right side of the monitor along with the SD card reader. The monitor casing is made of high-quality, sparkly matte black plastic which increases the perceived black depth compared to glossy black and glass-covered black bezels. The stand neck is made of a sturdy silver metal, and the metal base is covered by high-quality, brushed matte plastic. The 4K BenQ is the complete package in terms of build quality and connectivity, since it has no noteworthy flaws, although I would prefer it if it had a dark matte gray bezel, since that would further increase the perceived black depth compared to its sparkly matte black bezel. The BenQ BL3201PH or BL3201PT is advertised as being flicker-free, which means that it does not use LED PWM dimming regardless of how high or low the brightness is set. I confirm that it does not use LED PWM dimming, which is excellent since LED PWM dimming ruins motion clarity as well as causes some people to suffer from health issues like headaches and eye strain. The BenQ's coating is nearly grain and sparkle free when viewed head-on, without the brightness cranked, and it appears slightly grainy when viewed from above and from other weird and wide angles. Most will consider the BenQ to be grain-free, but the matte coating does dull the colors and reduce the clarity a bit compared to a glossy monitor or one with plasma deposition coating, but this should be expected since it does use the matte coating. Fortunately, the BenQ's matte coating is as light as they come currently, and it uses a lighter coating than the 32-inch 4K Samsung, which uses a Samsung PLS panel with a grainier matte coating than the 32-inch 4K AUO panels used by the 32-inch 4K Acer, Asus, and BenQ monitors. The BenQ's overdrive or AMA setting is preset to high, which is very good, but it does suffer from a bit of overshoot ghosting, while the AMA off setting is completely free of overshoot ghosting and only has slightly slower pixel response times, which means that it only suffers from slightly more color streaking than the AMA high setting. As usual, the BenQ's AMA premium setting is useless since it introduces very obvious overshoot ghosting, while the AMA off setting is completely free of overshoot ghosting and only marginally slower than the AMA high setting. Both of the BenQ's AMA off and AMA high settings are fast enough to compete with 60 Hz TN panels, but it still suffers from traditional LCD sample and hold blur, so don't expect games to look far sharper and clearer in motion thanks to the BenQ's high resolution, because it doesn't, thanks to 60 Hz LCD sample and hold blur, which kind of negates any sharpness and clarity benefits 4K can offer when not viewing static or still content. Fortunately, the BenQ can be considered delay-free, and has been confirmed to be by a few other reviewers, unlike the Acer B326HK, AUO, Samsung, and LG 32-inch 4K monitors, which all have around 30 millisecond or 2-frame delays. The BenQ has proper brightness controls, and its brightness range makes it suitable for both very bright and very dim environments. Its high contrast and lack of glow make it suitable for dim rooms when the brightness is not cranked. I use a single Lifix LED light set to 6500K and the maximum brightness of 1000 lumens in my room, and I set my monitors to around 90 cdm squared to prevent eye strain when using a dimmer light like the Lifix. Prior to restarting my PC, the BenQ looked quite washed out and dull due to a DisplayPort glitch which my measurements prove exist. The BenQ's gamma was quite inaccurate and low and ruined the preset color accuracy, as well as made the image look quite dull. Once I restarted my PC, the colors returned to normal and were essentially near perfect, especially once set to the user mode and after the color temperature is changed from normal to user. The BenQ is preset to the standard mode but can be improved by selecting the user picture mode and by changing the color temperature from normal to user. Aside from the crank brightness, I have zero complaints with the BenQ's default color accuracy. Like its smaller AHVA brother, the BenQ BL3201PT, the BL3201PH looks very neutral and lacks an obvious color dominance, and the colors are essentially as vibrant and accurate as they can and should be. The BenQ looks beautiful, accurate, and contrasty thanks to its 1000:1 contrast ratio and very minimal glow. The BenQ BL3201PH is the best monitor I have come across in terms of preset color accuracy, color vibrancy, and contrast. The BenQ must be set to the user picture mode, and the user color temperature setting must be selected in order to adjust its red, green, and blue values. Only minor adjustments were required since it has excellent preset color accuracy, which is nearly perfect. The only monitor I have reviewed which surpasses the BenQ in terms of lack of glow is my very rare and glow-free QNIX QX2710, but it has less accurate colors before and after calibration and still suffers from a minor red tint when calibrated, while the BenQ is neutral. The BenQ can't match glossy monitors' color vibrancy or monitors with plasma deposition coating, but it does suffer from less white glow when viewing dark content compared to the majority of AHVA, IPS, and PLS panels. The BenQ I reviewed did not suffer from backlight bleed or light leakage, but keep in mind that this can vary, which is why it's always best to buy from retailers with hassle-free return and exchange policies. The BenQ's perceived black depth is excellent, meaning that black actually looks black when the monitor's brightness is not cranked in a dark room. Black looks black, and it is almost completely free from pesky AHVA glow, which is the same as IPS and PLS glow. AHVA, IPS, and PLS glow is white glow which shows up in the bottom corners when viewing dark content on monitors from within certain minimum viewing distances, such as 90 centimeters or 3 feet for 27-inch AHVA, IPS, and PLS panels. And the white glow also shows up when viewing dark content from off-angle or high up above. The BenQ is nearly free from white glow when viewing dark content, which is quite surprising when considering the panel size and performance of older AHVA panels like the BenQ BL3201PT I reviewed in 2014. Dark scenes in games, movies, TV shows, and photos look very contrasty and easily rival and outright surpass many smaller VA panels since they also suffer from white glow when viewing dark content. The BenQ surprised me since it suffers from less white glow when displaying dark content than the Samsung S27C 750p VA panel I reviewed in 2013, which had nearly 5 times more contrast, as well as the 32-inch VA Samsung TV I used to own, which has nearly 3 times more contrast and used a glossy coating. The BenQ is more usable from close viewing distances since it suffers from such a small amount of white glow when displaying dark content. Keep in mind that I set up my lighting conditions and use specific lights in order to eliminate glare, enhance the monitor's perceived black depth, and prevent eye strain. Refer to the typed review, which is linked to in the video description for more information. The BenQ has very wide viewing angles which do not inhibit the viewing experience in any way, and it comes quite close to matching my glow-free QNIX QX2710, which uses a special glow-free Samsung PLS panel which has wider viewing angles than the majority of AHVA, IPS, and PLS panels. The BenQ has much wider viewing angles than any TN panel, as well as any VA panel, but it can't match the viewing angles of the professional AZO CG and CX monitors, which are also glow-free and have wider viewing angles along with my QNIX QX2710. I talked about the BenQ's lack of glow multiple times already, but must do so again for the AHVA glow section of my review. The BL3201PH glows less than most monitors. Only glow-free IPS panels like the AZO CG and CX series, HP Z27X, and Samsung LTM270DL06 panel used by my QNIX QX2710 pictured above in the comparison photos are the only monitors which have less glow. Obviously, cranking the brightness in a dark room will not produce a pretty picture, which is why it is best to reduce the monitor's brightness and wisely place quality lights in order to reduce glare, glow, and increase the perceived black depth. Lighting recommendations can be found in my typed review, which is linked to in the video description.
they observe their purpose, that's listen, but not in the way they intend, but whether there's any further view of the world become apparent before all, as in the
4K is a gimmick for gaming. Why? Because LCD panels suffer from sample and hold motion blur, and all of the 4K monitors are 60 Hz. Higher refresh rates reduce LCD sample and hold blur, but it will likely be a year before 75 Hz 4K monitors are available, and probably 2 years before we see 4K monitors with refresh rates of 100 Hz and higher. Most LCD TVs have forms of motion compensation, but they are disabled when the PC and game modes, which reduce input lag and provide 444 support, which is required to display text in certain colors properly. Screen tearing further hampers the monitor's ability to benefit from 4K, but it can be avoided by enabling lag and stutter-inducing VSync, as will lag and stutter-free AMD Free and NVIDIA G-Sync. Currently only Samsung sells a 32-inch 4K monitor with SyncTech, but it has not been reviewed yet. 3840 by 2160 at 32 inches is fantastic for desktop use, especially when compared to a 27-inch 1440p monitor, since 4K provides far more pixel or desktop real estate to work with, which can be used to enhance multitasking with 2 internet browsers open side by side, or with internet along with Microsoft Office or a PDF. 4K at 32 inch is also great for Sony Vegas Pro, which I use to make these videos, and other tasks which benefit from a vast amount of pixel real estate and desktop room. I found that a 32-inch 4K monitor was enough to replace the two 27-inch 1440 monitors I used, but only after I resized windows. I did not have any issue with text legibility, but I barely had to upscale text to make it comfortable for reading. 4K is indeed awesome for desktop use, but it is not revolutionary since it is possible to buy two easier-to-use 27-inch 1440p monitors for the same price. Two 27-inch 1440p monitors are easier to use since less window resizing is required to make use of the desktop or pixel real estate, and because text legibility and scaling issues are far less common at 1440p. Aside from potential 4K scaling and pixel real estate management quirks, the BenQ BL3201PH is the best monitor I have reviewed, since it has no true flaws. Its lack of gaming-related features like a higher refresh rate, backlight strobing, and free or G-Sync can't really be criticized, since it was not meant to be a gaming monitor. Unlike 30-inch IPS panels, the BenQ's high contrast is not worthless, since 30% of the screen, starting from the bottom corners, is not lost to white glow when viewing dark content, and the BenQ can be viewed from close distances of 45 cm or 1.5 feet, unlike 30-inch IPS which suffer from very obvious white glow when viewed from less than 90 cm or 3 feet. BenQ has set a new standard for large and expensive monitors since it does not use a wide gamut panel which suffers from extreme IPS glow, unlike the 30-inch 2560 by 1600 resolution IPS panels LG has been selling since 2005. The BenQ's very accurate color presets, minimal glow, and dark matte black bezel enhance the perceived black depth when its brightness is not cranked, and also provides a very hard to match, contrasty, and vibrant viewing experience. The 3840 by 2160 resolution and grain and sparkle-free matte coating ensures text clarity and the sharpness of the large panel, but don't expect the monitor to be vastly sharper than a 27-inch 1440p monitor, since it is not. Its matte coating is not perfect since a tiny bit of haze can be seen when viewing white and light colors, especially when viewed off angle, but the coating is nearly as light as matte coatings can get. Only glossy and plasma deposition coated displays can truly utilize the 3840 by 2160 resolution to enhance the image clarity and sharpness of a display, but they don't exist yet. I definitely would rather have a 32-inch 4K monitor with a glossy or plasma deposition coating, but they likely won't exist for a long time along with 4K monitors with high refresh rates. The BenQ BL3201PH is not my favorite monitor since it is matte, but it is easily the best all-around monitor I have reviewed, and is currently the best all-around 32-inch 4K monitor along with the cheaper but warranty-less and non-returnable QNX UHD 325. Click on the annotation to watch my best 32-inch 4K monitor video to find out how the BenQ compares to other reviewed 32-inch 4K monitors. And refer to the video description for a link to my BenQ BL3201PH type review, which contains my monitor settings and ICC profile.